from Universal Studios Hollywood. Welcome to Home and Family. Make their living doing something a little unconventional. We want to share this with you. It's called blogging. I've heard a lot about this. In fact, I had a blog for a long time. It's not easy to do. Here to share their secrets on how moms can start their own blogs, please welcome Daphne Brogdon, Sarah Auerswald, and Sally Schultheis. Yeah. Welcome, ladies. Daphne, is it easy to start blogging?
It's easier than throwing Christina's 4th of July party. And the good thing about mom blogging is we're the anti-mean girls.
Yeah.
We support. Yeah, there's a real credo in mom blogging to be supportive of all types of mothering and different approaches.
But how you make a living at this? Because it's got to be a difficult.
Sometimes it's tens of dollars, Mark.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tens of dollars. It really depends upon partnerships, and we'll talk about that. And
advertisers.
Really,
yeah. Well, there's brands who want to have you be their ambassador, or things like that. So
somebody wants me to be their ambassador.
No, not you.
Not you.
For a second, I was scared. So I should warn these people. Okay, well, we'll get into all of that a little bit later on. I can't wait to chat about that because I think blogging is such an interesting way to pull so many people together.
But it's a commitment. It's a lot of fun.
It is
a commitment.
We have moved back inside where it's a little bit cooler and in the family room. An estimated 3.9 million moms blog in North America. We have assembled a panel of mom blog experts. They're here to tell us how you can start your own blog and get and possibly turn that into a career. So please welcome Daphne Brogdon, Sarah Auerswald, and Sally Schultheis.
Welcome, ladies. Welcome, ladies. Before we get started, we want to find out exactly what mom blogging is about.
Well, mom blogging is basically journaling at the most simple, journaling about being a parent. Although, as Sarah can try, there's a lot of different types of mom bloggers. There's the Disney moms, there's the coupon moms,
It's a Disney mom? What's a Disney mom?
I think they're wackadoodles, but they're just waiting for their free trip to Disneyland, and they love to blog about Disneyland. And I'll probably get all my hate.
There are
Apparently, blogging has an edge to it. Nice, lovely.
Are any of you? I know you're not a Disney mom, but are any of you?
but I've gotten the trips to Disney, and you get a lot of free trips and free products and products to review, things like that. So there's lots of stuff that happens like that.
So how does one begin blogging? How do you start a career? Does this start with, a little coffee talk on the phone and your friends going, "You're really good"?
Well, you know what? Well, yeah, let me tell you. Please, your friends get tired of listening to you. That's why you start a blog. You need a new audience. Well, like Sally doesn't have her own freestanding blog. She blogs for a larger blog, which is probably the easiest way to get started.
Which blog is Sarah and Sally? Which blogs?
I blog for Mom.me. It's a parenting blog it's funded by Procter & Gamble, and it's on the nice thing about Mom.me is that it goes from pregnancy to empty nest. So wherever you are on the spectrum, you can chime in and say what you need to about the experience.
What do you blog about?
My kids are actually, one is technically a little kid and one is a tween. So those are two different categories on the site. And I blog about just whatever comes up in my life, what I talk about with other mothers, what I think about at stoplights.
So my thing was that the reason I got started is because I was a stand-up, and I'm in a comedy club, and I had a year-old daughter, and I'm waiting to go on, and I was like, what the heck am I doing in this trashy place? I've got the gift of God at home, but I wanted a creative outlet, and I thought there's nobody doing funny videos for moms. So I really started off as a vlogger, which is yet another subcategory.
So where do you pull inspirations from the fact that you're sitting at a stoplight going, wow, another color?
Stoplights are amazing.
Well, like any mother, that's when you ruminate on all the things that are stressing you out. The fact that your kid's lunch comes home uneaten every day. The fact that you don't know if you should pull out of carpool because it's bad social dynamic. Whatever it is, you think about it when you're falling asleep at night and at a stoplight. Those are the times when you have a resting mind. Other times, that's when it pops into your head.
Did you ever have your kid come home and you go into his bedroom and for some reason and it just really smells. You can't find the smell. And then you find like a week's or 3 weeks worth of lunches that were hidden because they were afraid to tell you that they didn't eat their lunch. Does that ever happen?
That sounds like a blog post. That's a blog post.
That's right.
So, yeah, of course it happened to me.
Which
No,
daughter are
my
you talking?
son.
Oh, it's your
My
son, okay.
But do you have women who respond to you? They write back to you because all of a sudden, because when you said that, I went, oh, I had something. So do you have women who do that and want to talk about it and open a discussion about
Oh,
it?
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you always hit some nerve with someone usually, you know, and then you get people commenting and sharing on Facebook and saying, oh, you've got to hear what she just said, you know. So
Right. I mean,
So, a question, Facebook question. This is from Renee Schumacher from Indiana. Thanks for writing in, Renee. How do you narrow down what you want to blog about? How do you get the focus and find, I guess, what your brand is?
Yeah, I think that's really clear, but really important because we were saying, you know, some people make money blogging, some people don't. But if you have a voice, if you feel like there's something to be said that is, which is what I felt. I felt like there was information online, but nobody had a certain sort of edgy comic thing that I wanted. And sometimes you run into a brick wall, but it's really just the little minor things that can come up. It can be something with your kids, with your marriage, with pop culture. With Sarah and I both also write about politics too. Things.
Well, and for me, I started a blog called Mar Vista Mom, and I was writing, you know, about my life and when I colored my roots, and really no one wanted to know that. And I figured that out because then I wrote about the neighborhood as it was changing, and you know, the new stores were coming into the old, you know, spots, and the people were fixing the streets, and suddenly people cared. So that blog, like, people told me what they wanted to read about. The neighborhood.
The feedback
Right.
on your site?
Yeah.
Is how you started to really pay attention to your audience.
yeah, you do. But, so how do you find contributors to write on your blog?
You do more of that. You have contributors on your blog.
Yeah,
right?
and
yeah.
we have our site called Moms LA. We have 100 mom bloggers from all over Southern California who are contributors, and you know, they each have a different, you know, thing that is their specialty, and so they all help us that way.
If you're sitting at home, you're a mom or a dad, I guess. You couldn't be a mom
There's dad
blogger.
blogger. There are
There
dad bloggers now, though.
as well.
Yeah.
So, is there something before you leap into this? There's certain considerations you want to take into an account for?
Absolutely. Some people are very squeamish about, like, I don't want to mention my kid's name. I'm going to use a nom de plume. Me, I didn't care. I was like, I already, you know, had my name out there and my kid's name out there. But you do have to say, okay, well, I don't think I'll mention my cousin's brief stay in the mental hospital. You know, there's some things that might be going on with your life that you have to,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, you
be
have to
careful
decide
about.
how public you want to be because people will know things about you, you know, and you just go, how did they, oh yeah, I blogged about that. That's how they know. You know, if you don't want, especially I have teenagers, you know, now, and it's like, you know, I'm not going to talk about them without their permission because their friends are
Right.
going to read about it, you know.
How often do you have to blog in order to be current and interesting?
If you really, people who make money blog at least 5 times a week.
Wow.
At least.
That's
And
a lot.
really
How long?
sometimes 10 times.
How long do the blogs have to be? How many paragraphs? How many words?
Short.
Sure.
We say too long, didn't read. So, you know, some of it is just too long and people don't have the time. You know, we're all really busy. You don't have time to read a lot, so get to the point.
How do you get traffic then?
Yeah.
By keeping it short?
Right.
Is that
Short, controversial, always gets
Yeah,
you there.
some bloggers are very good controversial. Sometimes something gets picked up. A video I did called Muffinlicious, where I've proudly showed my muffin top. That got on Huffington Post.
Your pizza dough?
Yeah.
I call it pizza dough.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. Awkward. We're getting into awkward territory. We're going to shift this whole thing on how we can make money off of the muffin
Yeah.
top and all
Yeah,
the other
yeah.
things that we do here with our
I can make a
roundtable of
lot.
mommy bloggers when we come back. We are back with our mom blog experts panel. Daphne, Sarah, and Sally are here. All right, so you want to blog. First of all, why do you guys want to blog?
For me, it was a creative outlet. I've worked in TV, I've worked in comedy, and it was, how do I have a creative platform and stay home with my children? I wanted to stay home with my children.
Right.
And if I could make a couple nickels on the side, great. But it was really a creative platform.
The outlet.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was a professional writer for years and a magazine editor, and so I wanted to write about what I was experiencing in my life at the time and being a parent. And it's very easy and accessible. It's a conversational format, so you don't have to worry about a lot of fact checking and
That's true.
all that
All the
stuff.
details.
Say whatever the heck
you want.
All the-
Yeah, just fill it with inaccuracies.
And you're
Well, I wanted instant publication. I mean, instead of going through an editor, I'm my own editor, and so that was phenomenal at first. And now, my sites have really become more of a service. We talk about what's happening on the weekend, and we interview the mayoral candidates, and we sort of do, more getting information to people. Then it's much more that than my personal opinions about things.
Let me jump to you ladies a little bit because Jesse, you blog.
I have
right?
a blog, right?
You have a blog. When do you find
Yeah,
time
when do you find the
to
time?
read?
Well, mine
other
started
people's
as a
blogs?
website, and then the blog is what brought in the traffic. It's a little bit different. I mean, I have a blog post every day, 5 to 6 times a week, and then I literally am up till 1 a.m. writing everything, but I keep it the same, 2 paragraphs, and then my pictures are what bring in the traffic from Pinterest. So 75% of my traffic is through Pinterest, but it's very mathematical. I mean, the Google Analytics and following where your traffic's coming from and what they're hitting, and then from that's how you make the money.
Don't you have to have like a book called, blogging for dummies to
They probably
show
have
There
that.
is one.
Probably.
There is one.
There is. There is.
Oh, yeah.
No, to help you because you say you have to
They
go to
think
your
you learn
search engine.
as you go. I mean, I've learned so much, and mine's only been up for a year and a half, but the traffic I get now and the advertisers, you definitely...
How do you get advertisers? Anyway.
Well, it's a few things. You sometimes you can make the best deals are when you make an actual partnership. If you say, "Oh, Procter & Gamble, you have that new shampoo coming out, and why don't I do a branded thing?" Which you have to say. There's a lot of rules about that. You have to say, "I'm being paid to write this post."
Right.
You can also just get the little pop-up ads. Those don't pay very well. That's where your tens of dollars come in.
But can you make money doing this?
You can, but I always say Sarah's more of a cheerleader for making money on this than I am because I have made money, but at the same time, I also have gone to blogger conventions where I want to scream, "You girls, go out and get a job," because most of them are not going to make money. And it's not a good way. I don't think you should step into it thinking, "I'm going to help pay my mortgage by blogging." I think it really should be, I want this creative platform, and maybe there'll be some money on this.
What are we talking about money-wise? What are the upper ends, and what should you expect to make?
Well, there's a huge range. I mean, obviously, the tens of dollars all the way up to, the people who are making, 6 figures doing it.
But that's
Really?
only a few people.
It is a few.
Or
Only a few.
And people who've started probably 10 years ago. I mean, if you think about like Deuce
Right,
or Pioneer
right.
Woman, they started 12 years ago.
But the other thing they did, and that a lot of people can do, is use it as a platform to something else, whether it's
Like the
different
Pioneer
events,
Woman did.
Exactly.
She did
TV
that.
show,
She has her own
books,
TV show now,
cookbooks,
books, yeah.
things
she was
like
making money before that TV show.
Yeah, every book started with a blog now.
that. Yeah.
Every book started with a
Well,
blog.
it seems like a lot
Yeah.
of books, memoirs,
Yeah.
like Julie and Julia.
Yeah, it
right.
seems to me like my mom, when I was little growing up, she would make the little, what do you call them, the little cakes that you would put and have coffee, and it would just be the mom sitting around talking.
Exactly.
Like a coffee clutch.
Yeah.
But you bring up a really good point. And I asked my mom once, I did a video with her, and I said, "What would you have thought about blogging when you were a young mother?" She said, "I would have hung on every word." And that was a big impetus for me, is that moms feel so isolated. When you're home with a little kid and I can't go meet my girlfriends at the wine bar anymore. And that
The wine bar.
that virtual community
Yeah.
means a lot. And I will say that's one of the nice things about blogging is I have met other bloggers and made friends with other bloggers that you wouldn't meet otherwise.
How do you find companies, though, that offer you products to review?
They just send you.
They
emails.
look
Do you ask them for it?
I don't.
They just send
to
it?
me.
I ask sometimes, and sometimes I'm offered. I mean, it really, moms spend the money, right, in the household. We're the ones who control 85% of whatever, something statistic like that about the household money. So the brands know that we're the ones spending money. They want us to talk about that product, or try it out.
Well, let me ask you,
No, you go right ahead.
when you're first starting and to get people to notice you, can you go on places like Blog Her, which is huge? It's a huge community of women, and you can go on there and blog and maybe get
Be invited. Though.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you go. Well, that's a whole other story. But it's a huge. I mean, a lot of people visit that website every day. I mean, I do. I go a lot to on all different kinds of subjects.
Well, I think partnerships are really important. It's like you said, you were starting to blog on somebody else's site, and it also really helps that, let's say, a lot of what bloggers do is kind of have each other's back. Okay, I'm gonna retweet something Sarah did. She's
Right.
gonna retweet what I did.
Yeah.
I'll mention her on my blog. She'll mention me on my
Right.
blog. That's an organic way to build traffic.
So what do you say to the moms who are watching right now who go, you know what, I'm going to put my sticky bun down and my coffee cup, and I'm going to start doing...
Really?
Well, I don't know, whatever they're eating. What advice do you have for them?
Well, first of all, watch the carbs, of course. Thank you. if you feel like you've got something to say, then I would say do something like on Tumblr. Very easy. You don't have to pay anybody to build your site. It's just, you know, what about you, Sarah?
Oh, yeah, low barrier to entry. I mean, Blogger is free to start. WordPress.com is free to start as well. There's lots of ways. It's new. You're going to have to learn something new, yes, but, you know, Facebook was new once for you, too. You know, you'll learn it. And then, yeah, just start talking about and see what people like, see what people respond to.
Visit other sites, too.
Sally, you
I would say just outrun self-doubt, you know? Don't talk yourself out of it before you do it, because there's so many people that have asked advice. I want to start a blog, I want to be about this, I want to do this, how should I do it? And they gather all the information and then they never do it.
Right.
And it's so easy, just start.
do it.
Just
You know why?
start.
Why they
Because
don't?
nobody...
Their fingers are so sticky from the can't get them going. More information about our bloggers, you can visit our website, hallmarkchannel.com/home and family.